the Go Berserk with Email podcast with Navy nuclear engineer turned email software developer, Troy Broussard. So calm.
I'm pissed off, but I'm telling this because I am teaching you how to think differently and how to test differently.
So patient.
And Ben, that's put $500,000 into this company too, is being told that nobody can find the goddamn bug.
So charitable.
I'm going to start paying bounties every time somebody finds a bug. We're going to deduct $10 for that week.
So trusting.
Do not assume that anything works. Assume that nothing works.
And so sweet, it makes sugar taste just like salt.
I want to play into the sexiness of marketing automation, but I also want to slap the complexity of it.
The Go Berserk with Email podcast begins now.
Troy, are we just going to keep on shilling? Is that really what this show is turning into, a big shill for the product that sponsors it? Is that what we're doing?
It is called the Go Berserk with Email podcast. So, yeah, it's kind of tied to Berserker Mail and email and all things business related in between. I do cover a lot of stuff that has nothing to do with email on this podcast, though. And for those of you that are deep thinkers and can actually read between the lines and learn to apply some of this stuff, even if you don't use Berserker Mail, heaven forbid, Jonathan, heaven forbid. But even if they don't use Berserker Mail as their email platform, then there's still a lot to be learned in the lessons in between, I think. So, yeah, that's the way we roll, Jonathan. It's the way we roll.
Who'd have thunk it, right? You named it after the platform. The platform pays for it. Who do you think? What do you think we're going to talk about?
Exactly, man. Exactly. Today we're going to do something a little different. I'm going to talk to you about a couple different ways that you can kind of intertwine your content publishing with Berserker Mail. And this is something that I think is a little different twist, but the first one is fairly basic. So the first one is that a lot of email platforms have archives, and we do as well with Berserker Mail, but it's totally under your control. If you want to use it, how you want to use it, the limits that you put on it, etc. So what am I talking about with an email archive? Well, many marketers want to kind of create a virtual blog out of their email content and put it up on an archive page that can be used for lead generation or just for someone to reference, or if someone is subscribed to their list and missed a couple emails from a couple days ago, they can go back and browse through the archives. And so we have that feature. You have to turn it on, and it's something that is, again, a choice. You do not have to do archives. There are others that simply do not want their stuff to be long lasting. They only want it to be through the email mechanism. They don't want anybody to get to it again later, or, hunt them down or try to dig through 3 years worth of archives or anything like that, right? So everybody has their preferences from on to off to a lot of settings in between. So the in-between stuff that we do with the archives is pretty cool as well. So first of all, you can determine which emails show up in the archive by using some of our colored labels and save searches capabilities inside of Berserker Mail. So for an individual saved search, which you can associate a colored label with, you can decide whether or not you want emails sent to that saved search result to be archived or not. So for example, if I've got a blue list with the blue colored label and it's a saved search for my marketing list, then that would be one saved search. Then I might have another saved search that's just for my active paying monthly Memoirs of Mastery subscribers. And let's say I color code that red. Well, those are two different segments of my list, two different saved searches that I've created, and I can email to them independently. I can also configure each independently as to whether or not it shows my email archives, which is pretty damn cool. So if I want to have my marketing emails show up in the archive, but not any of my customer fulfillment emails, then I can easily control that just by the settings on each of those saved searches. So that's kind of one way that we play in that gray area between turning it on and turning it off. But another way that you can do it is control how many emails go into the archive. So maybe you only want to show the last 10 days of your emails, or maybe you want to show the last 60 days or the last 90 or the last year. you have a whole bunch of settings in the longevity aspect of how much content you want to allow to stay within publicly visible within your archive. So we give you a lot of granularity settings there on durability as well. But then lastly, I said about content publishing, well, we publish content because we want to get leads, right? So we also allow you to integrate an opt-in form right into your archives page as well. You don't have to, you can turn it off, but if you want to use it, you can turn it on and link it into Berserker Mail. And now when somebody passes around one of your emails or somebody browses across the archives and they decide they want to subscribe or whatever, or they share it with their aunt or their cousin, and he just sees that opt-in, they can join your email list and come in through that. So it turns into a lead capture as well. So this is one of the ways, Jonathan, that we do some simple kind of content publication from your email platform and repurpose that content.
I counted 3. You said one way. I counted 3. Do I not know how to count?
Well, the archives is the one.
Different ways to use the archive. I got it. I'm
the archives
notes.
is one of 2 of the ways I'm going to talk to you about today on content publishing. The other is totally different, and another fun little feature and something that, quite honestly, I don't know that there's another platform on the planet that does, because we have the distinct benefit of not only being an email content provider and platform with Berserker Mail, but Ben and I also co-own Learnistic. And Learnistic is an app platform for publishing audio and video content primarily, although you can publish textual and PDFs and stuff too. But most of all, it's for creating audio and video content inside your own membership site that is hosted in an app platform on both Google and Apple's app stores. And Learnistic is, man, I just love it. It's like having your own paid podcast platform, right? Or having your own paid audible.com pocket browser or pocket app, where you can publish your stuff, protect it, charge for it, distribute it really easily. And it's something that actually came before Berserker Mail. So this was the first company that Ben and I formed. And in fact, if you look at the legal and disclosures and everything on Berserker Mail, you'll see that Berserker Mail is actually a division of Learnistic and owned by Learnistic. So Learnistic is the grandfather of these babies. And I still use it all the time. I have my Memoirs of Mastery subscription that is a monthly subscription. And rather than doing a print newsletter, I started out as a print book subscription. I would send out a print book every month. For the first 2 years, I wrote a book every month and had that subscription there. And then I would audibly narrate the books as well and publish the narrations inside of Learnistic. Well, over time, it just became a little more workload than I wanted to do, even though I refined it a lot. And I got it down to being able to do a book in about 5 days, 4 days. And I got the whole process systemized, but it still was more than I wanted to spend in time. And so I changed it to a digital version instead. So now Memoirs of Mastery is like, think of it like a paid narrated book every week or every month, but instead of writing the book, I just narrate it. I just do the audio version of it, right? And so it's all digital. And every month, I don't provide access to previous months. So when you join, you get that month going forward, and I don't provide the archives. Occasionally I sell some access to the archives, but generally not. And so I have to do it as a new course every month. It's a new course, and I have to grant access to my current subscribers every month. Well, what's really cool with the way that we've integrated Learnistic into Berserker Mail is that you have the ability inside of Berserker Mail to search for a contact. And then when you select them, you could select a whole bunch of them, and you can do these batch operations like apply a tag or remove a tag. All of that is kind of common in any email CRM platform out there. But the difference is, because we also integrate with Learnistic, in those batch operations, you can not only apply a tag inside of Berserker Mail, but I can apply a tag to Learnistic as well, and just immediately open up content in Learnistic virtually instantaneously through an operation that takes about 15 seconds of your time. I can select my save search of lists of contacts, my sub list inside of Berserker Mail that are my subscribers, right? So I can select that list, pulls in all the contacts. I can just hit select all to select all those contacts. And then I can go to the batch operations and say apply Learnistic tag. And because it sees that my account is integrated with my Learnistic account, instead of just giving me the ability to apply Berserker Mail tags, I can also apply tags in Learnistic. And when I do, the hundreds of my subscribers in there immediately get a push notification to their phone that you've been granted access to the new volume 39 of Memoirs of Mastery. And boom, they get a push notification. The constant is instantaneously accessible to them inside of the app. So this is really some groundbreaking stuff that from a terms of integration and simplicity and content publication, people that want to do paid podcasts or that have their own kind of private channel or paid membership area that want to be able to publish content easily out on the phone, restrict access, put it in the palm of their users' hands where they can take it with them anywhere they go, which is all some of the capabilities of Learnistic, along with the ability to download it and view it offline. So if you're traveling, you can view some content on the plane, for example. And even so, when it's downloaded, it's not something they can distribute. It's downloaded into the protected app space on the phone so that your content isn't distributed all over the internet. So it's pretty neat 1-2 punch, man. It really is. The jab of Berserker Mail with an occasional uppercut from Learnistic.
You getting all Gary V on me here?
That's right. Jab, boom.
Well,
I like that. What was that 80s video game? It was like body blow, and then the voice would change and go headshot. It's really cool. Knockout.
Oh, knockout. Yeah, dude, that was like before Mike Tyson, wasn't it? That was before it was Mike Tyson.
That was probably before you were born, if we're truthful here. But hey,
I know. I look young.
That.
I'm older than I appear, but I had hair. You would know that. That's why I shave it all off. So, all right. So, content publishing. It was 3 pieces of using the archive, right? Archive as a virtual blog, sorting, colored searches, control on how many emails go. So there was all kinds of ways to break down the archive, but
whether or not you want to use it for lead gen.
Yeah, lead gen, to have the opt-in form, and also even how much of an archive you want, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year. All those settings were kind of interesting. And then we talked about integration with Learnistic. And this is really for content creators, product creators, like you said, memberships. Man, the power of having that signal on the phone, though, is hard to beat, right? Having that notification, that's kind of hard to beat.
Man, we are a society of phone molesters, dude. I'm telling you, man. The average person touches their phone like 4,237 times a day or something like that. I mean, we are phone molesters, man. So what better way to get your content in front of your users than when they're sitting on the can and got nothing better to do but browse their phone?
That's a lovely sight.
John, you can take your customers to the can. Now, if that's not a logo, I don't know what is.
All right, man. So what do you have coming up for us next time?
Well, next time we're going to have some fun, and we're going to talk about why we just ever so graciously charge you a setup fee, Jonathan. It's such a kind act on our behalf. We are, if nothing, benevolent, and so we'll discuss that next week.
Looking forward to it. Another Go Berserk with Email show is in the can. Thank you for tuning in, and we will be back in your earbuds next time.
To get a free Berserker Mail test drive with no credit card required, go to startmytestdrive.com. From there, you can play around inside the platform without pressure. Load up emails and campaigns to see how simple the interface is, and get comfy with everything before deciding to join. That's startmytestdrive.com.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.